Howdy YouTube, welcome to Down Home Gaming with Andrew. Today's game will be one of the first video games I ever played, which is Penetrator for the TRS-80. Like most TRS-80 games, Penetrator is a clone of a popular arcade game. In this case, it's a clone of Konami's Scramble, which had no official home release back in the day. Penetrator was developed in 1982 by Veronica Megler and Philip Mitchell at Beam Software, which was an Australian firm. The original version of this game was on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, and it was later ported to the TRS-80 and Commodore 64. Since I had the TRS-80 and the Spectrum was little known in the United States, the TRS-80 version was what I had to play. This game has a few features that help it stand out amongst all the Scramble clones on the market at the time, so let's take a look at it. Alright, so this is the startup of Penetrator. Really brings back a lot of memories for me. So, I think I low-key learned to read from playing a lot of these early computer games, honestly. So... Penetrator has a training mode which allows you to start at any level of the game. Plus, you have unlimited lines in training mode. I'm going to play it normally because that lets you register your score. But I'll switch to training mode if I don't get through the main game because it does get kind of hard at one point. Little glitch in the emulator. So this was played with a keyboard, but I adapted it to a controller. So this is, just like Scramble, you're flying over a landscape with rockets launching at you. You can either shoot forward or drop bombs. Now the radar dishes, every radar dish you pass over increases your danger level, which I think makes the missiles home in on you more. So you really want to try to get as many of those radar dishes as you can. That was close. I think every once in a while this game kind of glitches out and missiles don't do anything. I mean, it does give you kind of a bit of a reprieve. Stage 3 is reminiscent of all those cityscape stages in Scramble. And like in those, you've got to fly through pretty tight spaces. You have to pull back and go up and down in order to squeeze through some of these areas. Missiles don't seem to be working, so here's where the game gets kind of hard. Those things up there, those skull-shaped things, actively try to block you, they can travel up and down. I always thought they looked like little pigs' heads. But they are far and away the hardest obstacle in the game. Not a huge variety of obstacles in this game, but regardless, this is still a very entertaining game, and it's one of the better Scramble clones I've ever played. Scramble didn't get any home ports. Super Cobra, its sequel, did. But for Scramble, every company, every private developer seemed to make their own clone of Scramble. Alright, so now I'm on stage 5. Stage 5 is very short. It's a bombing run over the enemy fortress. You have to drop your bomb into the reactor, which is conveniently left open, so... Alright. If you miss, then... you have to start over again, but I've only got one more life left. Need to get it right this time. You have to know how the bombs will fall. Make sure you drop them at the right time. Yep, I'm not going to get it this time. Alright, so... it does save your score. So we're going to give this another go. I'm going to try to at least blow up the castle. So we have to start over at stage 1 again. If I don't get it this time, I'll try doing it through the training mode. So far, so good. Yeah, missiles are kind of homing in on me a little more. That was a close one. This really is one of the more entertaining Scramble clones. It's got a lot of neat features that set it apart from others. So we're going to try and make it through all these narrow tunnels again. Combat in this stage. Although getting through it. Alright, here's where things get tough again. Those little flying pig heads. Designed to hook onto plane. Alright, here we go. We're going to go on a bombing run over the castle. See if I can hit it just right. Nope, not this time. Certain altitude I think you have to hit. Yep, I got it. And you're treated to some very spectacular fireworks for the TRS-80. No wonder your plane survives, but so this is one thing that sets Penetrator apart from all these other Scramble clones. Now you have to do the entire game in reverse. You have your optics to, you're basically escaping from the enemy base. Having completed your mission. One more chance. Yep, guess I get so I earned an extra life there at 10,000, so I guess I get one more chance after that. So I better make it really good this time. Well, if I don't make it this time, you know, oh well. I can pass these flying skulls, the rest of the game might be a little easier. Reverse muscle memory here. If I make it through this one, then the rest of the game might be pretty easy. Alright, we're going to keep our fingers crossed here. Alright, stage 2. Home stretch, folks. Will I make it, or will I die just short of glory? Okay. Nope. I panicked. So that was actually pretty good. So that was Penetrator. This was one of my favorite TRS-80 games, and it's on a list of best TRS-80 games, it's usually near the top. So anyway, I enjoyed playing this game. I still dig it out every once in a while. So alright, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Penetrator is one of my favorite games in early childhood. The company it developed would eventually be renamed Chrome Studios Melbourne. It lasted until 2010, with the last game they developed being Blade Kitten for the PS3 and 360. The TRS-80 itself was my first home computer that my family had growing up. It launched in 1977. By 1979, it had become the best-selling computer platform in the United States. However, an unfriendly third-party software environment and advancing technology caused it to lose ground to platforms like the Apple II and the Commodore 64. Ours had its own monitor, as well as the expansion interface, which expanded its ROM from 4K to 16K, along with 2 floppy drives. This isn't our TRS-80, it's just a stock picture, but this is the exact same setup we had. On the TRS-80 monitor, the background was blue with visible scan lines. The version I played uses an emulator called TRS-80 GP. Now, I do still have my TRS-80, but it is in storage and needs some replacement components. All the games that you see on it on this channel will be emulated. Now, generally, I do try to use original hardware when I can, but on some of these older systems I grew up with, like the TRS-80, the TI-9948, and the Atari 8-bit, it just wasn't feasible for me to do so. Regardless, I do still enjoy visiting these games on occasion. You know, they're still fun, and I enjoy sharing them with you. Thank you for tuning in to Down Home Gaming. See you next time. If you like what you see, hit like and subscribe. Alright, take care.